All right. Thank you, everybody, for attending. This is, as we started last week, a call that with so many athletes, 10, we just couldn't have 10 on at one time. So doubles will start for the first half hour or so, and then at 2:30 we'll switch over to the singles for half an hour or so. And hopefully between now and next Tuesday and the following Tuesday, you'll either have a notebook full or you'll be sick of us, or maybe both. But we enjoy having the opportunity to talk with you. All right, so we have our doubles athletes on the call right now: Matt Mortensen, Jason Turdeman, and then we have Justin Krusen, Andrew Shirk. Let's start with Matt and Jason. You guys anchored a very exciting team relay in Koenigsegg just a couple of days ago. For those on the call, guys, that may not be totally down with how the team relay works, maybe you can kind of explain it a little bit, and at the same time, Matt and Jason, how this whole race unfolded there on Sunday afternoon.
Hey everyone, this is Matt. For Jason and I, the race unfolded exactly how any other race would unfold. The female went, the male went, and then the doubles went. But outside of that, it was really a crazy kind of weekend. Certain things were happening that isn't really in the norm. You saw Felix Locke screwing up on his run at his home track, where I don't think he's lost a race really since he's competed there as a senior athlete. Last year. Or he didn't win last year, I guess. But he hasn't been screwed up like that in a long time. And then you saw in the team relay race, certain key teams weren't going as fast, and then the Tobys had that really big mistake on their run by hitting the gate and disqualifying Team Germany. I think the U.S. team did their part. Everybody had good runs, and we know that when our team comes together and each individual sled has a good run in that team relay race, that we're very capable of getting onto that podium.
Okay, very good. Matt, Jason, do you think conditions had anything to do with what transpired on Sunday?
Not a really nice day. The weather worked out really well. There were some interesting ice temperature conditions going on. The top of the track was very warm, from what I was told by coaching staff and other athletes. And then the bottom of the track was incredibly cold, the ice temperature, which could have something to do with how sleds were running or where time was found or lost. But like Matt said, when every member of Team USA has a good run in the relay, we can find ourselves on that podium at any track. We did it in the heart of Germany last week, and we're going to have a real fun time here again this week in Oberhof.
Very good. Now, also we have Justin and Andrew. Now, these are a couple of guys that, now you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the very first team relay you ever participated in here in Lake Placid a few years ago, you anchored a gold medal. Justin, is that true? Is my memory working properly?
No, it was close. That was our second team relay event ever.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The relay that we ever did was an Eagles the week before, and we butchered that one.
Okay. Talk about the fun of the team relay, both you and Andrew. Talk about how, it's serious competition. Obviously, we're going to contest for Olympic medals, but how much fun is it?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Just saying, as much fun as the team relay is, it is serious business because they're going to be giving out Olympic hardware in the team relay next month. But talk about the fun aspect of this race and how that works with your kind of frame of mind, going into a team relay.
Team relay event, it's just, the start portion is just so crucial because you're with the gate and everything's sped up. So you're really just kind of focusing on just the start of the run. We all know how to slide, so that just could really come second nature. But it's just coming off the handles with a really good start and a really quick reaction.
Okay. Andrew, how does it work for you in that you don't know anything that's gone on in front of you? You don't know how your two teammates have performed ahead of you, and how do you put yourself in the right frame of mind to forget that and just slide?
It's really just all about having fun. You just need to focus on having a good time. The start, like Justin said, is very crucial, and once you get past that, it's just becomes second nature. It's just sliding again.
Okay, Andrew, if you could, just for the folks that are on the call that may not be completely down in understanding of how the relay works, can you explain the relationship of the touchpad at the bottom and the gate at the top?
So once one of the athletes slides down the track and hits at the bottom, that opens the gate up top for the next athlete to come down, and then happens again.
Okay, and of course, what we saw with the Germans the other day, if you barge that gate, in other words, if you start before the gate opens, it's a disqualification. So I guess we could say anything could happen in any particular time of the relay, which makes it fun, which makes it exciting. Let's open it up to the media on the call. Ask questions of the relay, of regular doubles racing, the Olympics. It's up to you. Go ahead, one by one, and just identify yourself first.
Not all at once.
Hey, this is AJ Donatoni with WBRE TV, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Questions for Jason. Jason, being from northeastern Pennsylvania, having grown up in East Stroudsburg, we always like to get the angle of the local guys going to the Olympics. Think it's awesome. This will be your second time now. What has been, most special to you about your connection to Northeast PA and the support you've received here from the area?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I was born in East Stroudsburg. I grew up just outside of Wilkes-Barre, Berwick. It's been an immense amount of support I've gotten from the area, not just this year, not just the last Olympic year, but every year since I started at age 10 back in 2000. It's pretty incredible that the entire area really comes together and shows support for what I'm trying to do and this crazy dream that I've been chasing for such a long time. And, I can never thank that area or the people or, even you guys, the media outlets that chime in and learn about what we're doing. Never thank you guys enough.
Well, just to follow up real quick on that, so having grown up in Berwick, how does one even get involved in luging, kind of in Northeast PA? It seems unusual, so something must have clicked for you.
Yeah, so USA Luge holds a recruitment tour called the White Castle Slider Search, where USA Luge sends wheeled sleds that are slightly modified racing sleds that similar to what we ride down the ice tracks to major cities across the country and let kids ages 9 to 13 try the sport for the first time in a smaller environment than what they'd be dealing with on the ice track. They set up a cone course down a paved hill, and you get about a 20-minute, learning session prior to going down the hill. They teach you how the sled's supposed to work, how to steer, and then they kind of set up a course, let the kids try it out. We look for coachability, we look for natural ability, athleticism, and then kids get invited up to Lake Placid through that process to a screening camp, and that's exactly how I got involved. I actually tried out my first year in Syracuse. I got invited to Lake Placid, spent about 5 days in Lake Placid on ice for the first time, immediately fell in love with the sport. I didn't make the team my first year, but I knew it was something I really wanted to pursue, so I tried it again my second year in Philadelphia, got invited back to Lake Placid, and I've been doing it ever since.
Very cool, Jason. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yep, good questions. Let's continue.
Hey, this is Rachel from NBC Sports. This question's for Justin and Andrew. This is going to be a first Olympics for you guys, so I just was wondering if you could talk about the moment when you knew you qualified and what like and how you celebrated.
Well, when we found out we made the team, it was just an instant relief. We're under so much pressure to perform and meet our qualifications to try and go to the games. And once we knew it, that was just lifted, and it was the best feeling in the world.
That was Justin, by the way.
Thanks, Cindy.
Same question for Andrew, Rachel?
Yeah, Andrew, if you can answer it too, that'd be great.
I pretty much like what Justin said. It was a huge relief. Lifted off our shoulders, and it's nice to be able to slide and not focus on meeting specific qualifications. We can just have fun and do what we can do.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
The real question for Andrew is, will he pack that skateboard of his?
I wish I could. I wish I had the room.
Other questions, please. Go ahead. Here's your chance. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Ed McGrogan. Guys, just wondering about, given that there are about there's three events remaining before the games. I'm wondering what preparation specific for Pyeongchang can actually be done while you're still in Europe, or if that's even something you want to concentrate on while there's still World Cup races going on. Just kind of want to get an idea of the balance that you guys are taking from the short view and the long view, considering the obvious stakes in a couple weeks' time.
Who are you directing that one to, Ed?
Anybody's fine. Feel free to just, whoever wants to jump in.
Okay.
Hey, this is Matt. Over the next couple of weeks, I would look to see our U.S. teams improving in speed and in placement in the upcoming World Cup. Jason and I, in particular, have been messing around with some equipment through this first half of the season, trying to pick out what we think will be the fastest equipment that we can use in Pyeongchang. We think that we've found pretty good setup, and going forward, we have a good idea of what we want to use at each individual race and then how we want to train before we get to Pyeongchang, because the doubles athletes are actually going to go to Japan for a couple of days so that we get on the same time zone, and we're going to train out there. So the setup that we're going to use in the Olympics is what we'll be training on when we go there.
And only the doubles is going to Japan? Is that just a separate thing for you guys specifically?
Yeah, it's just a separate thing for us specifically so that we can get some time on the sled. The singles athletes compete earlier in the games than we do, therefore they get the training. And the training is allotted by discipline. So the singles athletes will be training earlier in the week, and the doubles athletes will be training later in the week. So from the time we get finished with our last World Cup to the start of what would be our official training for the Olympics is a very long period. So to make up for some of that time, we're going to go to Japan and fly for 4 days.
On the Nagano track or some, I assume?
That is correct.
Yep. Great.
Any other questions? Let's continue. We have a few more minutes.
All right, guys. Hey, it's Matt Buffano from the Citizen Voice in Wilkes-Barre. This question is for Jason. In the doubles event, how important is the chemistry between you and Matt, and how would you describe, the hours of practice and competition and everything that went into building that connection?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Matt and I, we've only been together 3.5 years, but we've shown a lot of success at a very good rate and quite quickly. And a lot of that is due to the fact that we are able to mesh well together pretty much right out of the gate. Our first 19 runs together were in March of 2014, where we were in Lake Placid at a home track, which is nice to be comfortable at. But we didn't hit a single wall in those first 19 runs. It's kind of unheard of for doubles luge. It's a very steep learning curve, especially when you're sliding with a new partner. Everyone has a different, everybody steers the sled differently, reacts differently. You need to be able to understand and trust each other going down the track. And, we kind of talk about doubles luge being comparable to a marriage. You're literally living with someone for 5 months a year. You're training with them the rest of the other 7 months, every day of the week.
Fortunately for me, I didn't have to buy a race.
Yeah, fortunately for Matt, he didn't have to propose. But it's very important that the team, both members of the team really understand their role on the sled and what is expected of each other on and off the sled, even with training.
Matt, you want to continue with Jason or anybody else? Just want to go back to Ed McGrogan's question. Ed, you should know that the doubles guys will be training, as they said, a few days in Nagano. And historically, that is where USA Luge won its first 2 Olympic medals back at the Games in '98. So just an editorial comment there for your perusal. Other questions for other athletes, please?
Hey, Sandy, we may also be some athletes ever go down that track as it's expected to close right after.
Yeah, we did hear that, and it's kind of sad to hear that, but yes, that news is out there. I thanks, Jason, for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions, please, for our doubles athletes.
This is AJ again from Wilkes-Barre WBRE, and just one more for Jason. Last Olympics, I believe 11th place in the doubles. What are you hoping, obviously, to improve on this time around, and how much has that kind of motivated you over the last 4 years or so to get back to this point?
Yeah, that was correct. I did end up in 11th last games. Really, especially for me, was gaining experience. I was younger. I hadn't been to an Olympics. It's a totally different experience on a whole level. Every new race, 9-10 races a year on the World Cup Tour. We don't see the type of exposure that we get at the Olympic Games. So when I was in Sochi, I was really just trying to gain experience and see what the Olympics are all about. I was very happy to be there. I'm very happy to be going again in Pyeongchang. But this time around, I'm really hoping that Matt and I are able to have two really great runs that we're proud of. And we both understand that if we're able to do that, we have a great opportunity to put ourselves in position to fight for that podium. And that's what we're going to be trying to do, is trying to bring home a medal for the United States.
Thanks again, Jason.
My pleasure.
James Ernest, Grueling Truth Radio Network, for Matt. Of the three World Cup events that are left, which one do you feel that the track is similar to the one you're going to be experiencing in the Olympics?
Of the three World Cups coming up, I would say probably Lillehammer is the closest to what Pyeongchang will be for us when we go to Pyeongchang. The start ramp, I think I repeated myself there, but the start ramp is pretty similar. The track style is pretty similar. So Jason and I will be looking forward to competing there, definitely.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Ed Hula from Around the Rings. And I've got kind of a non-sport question this afternoon, what with the developments that have taken place in Korea over the past day to make sure a Korean team comes to the Winter Olympics. Any thoughts from any of you guys about this turn of events and how the Olympics may be, something for the greater good of Korea? Just wondering if you've sledded against any North Koreans as well at some time or other.
Hey, this is Matt. I can't say that we've competed against any North Koreans. We have competed against South Koreans. They're a great group of people. I think that the most recent developments with potentially North Korea and South Korea marching into the games together, competing together as one Korea would be an amazing thing. Sports has a history of bringing people and cultures around the world together, and it would be incredible if this Olympics could mend a little bit of, build a bridge between South Korea and North Korea in a positive light.
And ahead of this, there was some worry about whether people would feel safe going there, comfortable going there. Not that you guys had any kind of worries about going to the games, but does this, make things seem more calm, collected for you as the Olympics come?
Hey, this is Jason. I know specifically for myself, safety was never an issue of something I thought about. We trust in the fact that the U.S. Olympic Committee and the organizing committee of the Olympics have taken our safety into full account, and they will be, watching over us with the best of eyes and making sure that everything that goes on in February is as soon as possible. This new news, it seems like it's a great thing for, like Matt said, building a bridge between the two countries, and the smoother things can be between everyone, the better we will all feel.
Great, thanks.
Ed, just so that you know, this will be the third trip to the Olympic site for most of the team. They were there a year ago for the pre-Olympic test, back in the fall for the International Training Week, and now for the Olympic period. And actually we had, and Chris Masder was over there in addition one or two other trips. So everybody kind of knows the lay of the land, and I think a comfort level has built up over this 12-month period over there.
How about the comfort level for kimchi? Very spicy kimchi.
Not for everyone.
Everybody likes. It's not for everyone. Oh, come on.
Other questions, please.
Hey, Sandy, this is Tim Hips with the U.S. Army. I don't want to hijack your press conference here, but I'm going to try to.
Okay.
I've got one special request for all of the media people that are still on the line. We're going to try something different with the U.S. Army this year with social media attack. And what we would like is to link up our athletes, our soldier athletes, with media members who are going to be there covering by just getting them each to follow each other on their Twitter pages and their Facebook pages and their Instagrams or pentagrams or whatever you got working. You know what I'm saying? And we want to get our soldiers to clean their pages up and make them very professional, like whether they be personal or athlete pages, either way. And we want to get the pages that the media uses and get them following each other and going back and forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my email address out there, and I'm asking all of you media types whether you're going to cover the games or you're just previewing the games or you're going to cover them from afar. If you would be so kind as to send me at least your email address so I can get back to you and explain it further. But what we're really looking for is your social media pages. And my address is Timothy, Timothy .g as in Glenn, .hips, HIPPS like Peter Paul, .naf, and that's Nancy Alpha Franco, at mail, MAIL, .mil, MIL. I'll run that back, timothy.g.hips.naf at mail.mil. And this is for the U.S. Army. And Matt's already on the team. Emily's on the team. We got a bunch of bobsledders still coming up.
Taylor Morris.
Yep, we got Taylor Morris already on there. So if y'all would do that for us, it would really help us out. I've covered 7 Olympics for the Army already, but I'm not going to be going this time unless somebody pops up at the 11th hour and sends me. I am credentialed, but it doesn't look like I'm going to go. Matt, on that end, I've got a lot of stuff for you that I need to talk to you about. I don't know if you'd rather just go offline after this, if you're going to have any time, or if you can... Yeah,
Tim, let's do it offline, if you don't mind. This way we can have everybody else chime in here, and we can connect. You and Matt can connect. We can make the connection. That's no issue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks, Tim. Other questions? We have about 5 minutes or so before we switch over. We haven't really talked a whole lot about maybe previewing the track in Korea. Maybe our doubles guys just want to kind of bring the media group that's on the call up to speed on, how the track is, the different aspects of it, what to expect when people watch on TV or when media get over there to cover it. Any of the athletes want to jump on that, go for it.
All right, Sandy, this is Justin.
Yep.
So the track in Korea isn't really anything too new or too different, but it has very similar profiles and similar sliding styles to the track in Park City. But one key factor of the Korean track is going to be Curve 9, and I think that's where you're going to see a lot of big changes in this race. Speed-wise.
Okay. Can you, and maybe Andrew, you can jump on the back of that and talk about what makes it so as Justin has described it.
Curve 9 can be problematic because sometimes you'll come out with a lot of lateral pressure, and the back end of the sled will just skid out, and then you'll kind of go down the straightaway and hit a couple walls or skid most of the way down the straightaway, and that'll take away a lot of your speed.
Okay. Matt, Jason, want to add anything to what your teammates have put out there?
They're spot on. I mean, Curve 9 is going to be a make-or-break corner for a lot of teams, a lot of sleds, and it'll definitely be the exciting part of the track to watch. There's another transition between curve 13 and 14 that has a negative G pressure because it's slightly uphill on the exit of 13 and then drops away for 14, where you'll see probably some skids lose a little bit of control, sleds lose a little bit of control as well. And then the exit of curve 15 will be incredibly important because the track will continue uphill from that point on. And any speed you lose in that section of the track is going to cost you a lot of time.
Okay. Other questions? We have a couple minutes left. I just want to mention we've got 3 World Cups remaining, Oberhof and then Lillehammer, followed by the finals in Sigulda, Latvia. And I think one of the underlying themes now of the remainder of the season is the fact that these 3 races will determine Olympic seeding for Korea. There will be no qualifying in Korea like you see Nations Cup qualifying and World Cups. That will not take place. So maybe, Matt, talk about the importance of these 3 upcoming races and, what you hope to achieve here over the next 3 weeks.
Over the next 3 weeks, it's really important for all the athletes to put their best foot forward and to slide consistently. You really want to be a part of the A seed, which is the top 12 in doubles and women's singles, and the top 17, 15 in men's singles. And the reason for that being is the A seed goes first during the Olympics. During the World Cup series, the A seed goes last when the competition has started. During the games, you really want to try and get off as early as you can because you don't know what the ice conditions are going to be like. If the track happens to be warm and it's humid outside, the track will slow down, so having an earlier start number will play to your advantage. If you have a later start number under the same conditions, you could be putting yourself at an immediate disadvantage. So it's very important to be consistent and try to get as many high rankings as you can over these next 3 races.
Okay. Other questions? We just have a minute or 2 left before we switch gears here. Okay, well, we want to thank everybody for participating. Thank you to the doubles athletes. Good luck to you all there in Oberhof. And to the media, we hope you'll stay with us. There's the changeover coming up now as the doubles will leave us. The 6 singles athletes will replace them, and then we'll pick up with that here in just a minute or 2. Thanks, guys, and good luck this week.
Thank you. Hey, Sandy, how's the weather in Placid?
Well, it's finally broken. It's like pushing 30 degrees now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's beautiful. We were in a deep freeze for like 2-3 weeks, but now it's nice winter weather.
Awesome. I'm just hoping my car starts when we get home.
Yeah. That was a tricky one for a couple of weeks, I'll tell you that. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Sandy, is Matt still there?
All right. We're going to continue now. We have 5 of the 6 singles athletes. Chris Mazda is on his way. And we've got a nice group of media on the call, and we'll be here for about 25, 30 minutes or so. Okay, so we have Summers on the call. Summer, you were on that silver medal winning relay team. You had, between the singles race and the relay, 3 outstanding runs. Tell us the state of your sliding right now. Hello? Is Summer there or no?
Sorry, Sandy, can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Did you catch the question or no?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Last weekend you were on that silver medal winning relay team. You had the day before 2 outstanding runs. You had 3 really good race runs in Koenigsegg. Tell us, if you would, about the state of your sliding right now.
I would say I'm sliding very confidently right now, and I'm really enjoying sliding, enjoying my time on the sled, trying to make those little adjustments and improvements from run to run, but really just trying to stay in this sort of positive state of mind and, just having fun.
Okay. Emily, talk about adjustments, if you would, going from Koenigsegg to Oberhof.
Well, first of all, we need to look at the sled and just kind of, Oberhof is one of those unique tracks because it's solely a luge track. We kind of say it's the luge track, I guess. It's different than the others. They never run bobsleds on, well, they do, but they don't compete bobsleds or skeletons on this track. So, yeah, you kind of have to change your sled a little bit to it. And for me, it's just continuing that confidence and trying to get some clean runs on it.
Okay. Aaron, if you would, give us a sense of the curve profiles, kind of taking off from what Emily said. They don't have to accommodate bobsled. They don't have to accommodate skeleton. Is this kind of a track setup that you like, that it's luge only?
Not particularly. I've never been the biggest fan of Oberhof, but the last couple of years, the track's been built really nice. I heard they got a new ice meister, which is a person who kind of controls the track and builds the ice and is kind of in charge of the whole thing. And you can definitely tell the last couple of years it's been a lot smoother transitions. The ice has been in better shape. A lot of the curves, like Emily was referring to, it's a lot tighter. There's not big sweeping corners. There's a couple of big turns, but they're not long. And all the transitions are pretty quick. So it's kind of just getting into a different rhythm than Koenigsegg for sure. And yeah, I mean, we haven't slid yet, so I don't really know exactly how the track is built, how it feels, but hopefully we looked at it today. That's about all I got.
Okay, good enough. Tucker, silver medal in that race on Sunday in the relay, and you had a solid 6th in the singles race earlier in the day. Tell us about where you feel your sliding is at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that I'm on an upward trend. I had 44 runs from the end of Lake Placid World Cup to the start of the training week in Koenigsegg. So, it was a good little reset for me. I kind of went back to the basics, really just got back to trying to feel comfortable on the sled, and I feel like that paid off pretty well in Koenigsegg. That being said, Koenigsegg is definitely one of my better tracks, one of my more favorite tracks. So the goal moving forward is just to keep the momentum rolling and to try to build on that confidence. This is going to be a tough week to do it. Oberhof has historically been challenging for me. But, I'm up for the challenge, and hopefully this year will be a little bit different.
Okay. Taylor, tell us about how you and this track hopefully are one. Does it work with you?
You're asking Oberhof?
Yes.
Yeah, Oberhof, I think there's a nice little flow that you can find. As difficult as this track is, it's really tight and technical, but there's a really nice flow that you can find that I've found in the past. And, putting 2 runs together is pretty difficult here. And, I'm hoping that we can find the right setup. I would say specifically for this track, it's definitely been difficult for the U.S. team to find it. But when we do, we definitely go fast.
Okay. Is Chris on the call at this point?
Chris was running an athlete meeting.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so
yeah, Sandy, I just got on.
Okay, very good.
Over at dinner, actually.
Very good. Thanks for popping in here, Chris. We're just talking about transitioning from Koenigsegg to Oberhof, and you've slid both of those tracks a lot over the course of your career. Tell us what adjustments you'll make going from last week to this week.
Not too many big adjustments, Andy. Actually, we're on an upwards trend, as Tucker said, so let's just keep the momentum rolling.
Okay. Do we have media that would like to now ask some questions of any of the 6? Just identify yourself by name and fire away.
Yeah, Sandy, can you hear me? This is Amy from the Deseret News.
Yep, hear you perfectly, Amy.
Awesome. I was just wondering for Taylor, first of all, how he got into the sport of luge, and if you could just take us through sort of the reality of the Olympic moment setting in for him.
Yeah, hi. I started luge in 2002, 2003, just after the 2002 Olympics came to Salt Lake City, and they had the Verizon Luge Search at that point, which is now sponsored by White Castle. And I went out in the summer. I tried it out on a wheeled luge sled, and out of about 500 people, they picked, maybe 25 of us to go up to Park City for a 2-week on ice camp on the Olympic track up there. And out of those 25 people, they picked about 7 of us to start training full time, which is 6 days a week. So, in 6th grade, that's when I started. And, luckily I have some really supportive parents that were able to drive me up the mountain, 6 days a week, get me out of school a little bit early, so that was nice. And, as pertaining to the second question, the Olympic reality still hasn't set in. We're still here doing our jobs, and we're still trying to be the best athlete we can be, and I feel like the Olympic dream will really start to hit me when I'm there, and I get to really just embrace the moment and enjoy it all and soak it in as I walk in with the U.S. Olympic team.
Okay, very good. Other questions, please?
Hey, this is Ed McGrogan. This is a question for Aaron, and I believe, unless I'm mistaken, this will be your last race in Germany, which there have been so many over the years. And I feel in our talks that you've had sort of a love-hate relationship overall with it. There are some tracks you prefer more than others, of course, but I just kind of wondering about stepping back and just your thoughts on how big of an impact really this country that obviously has such devotion to the sport, what it's played in your career, and really kind of where you think, where heading into the Olympics, almost where you think Germany is in a sense. Because we talk a lot about the U.S. team, and of course we will do that, but I kind of want to get a sense from your mind of where you think even they're at right now, if things have changed at all.
Okay. So, yeah, it is my last week and last race in Germany, which is, I would say bittersweet, but I still haven't really gotten to that point where I'm, super bummed about it. I think at some point, maybe in, next year when the season starts and I'm watching races, I'll be like, oh, man, yeah, maybe it'll hit me then. But because I have slid here so many times, I've spent so much time in Germany over the years, it just kind of seems like another race in Oberhof. We pulled into town last night, and it was thick fog. You could barely see 10 feet ahead of you in the car, which is pretty on point, and that's something that I will not really miss too much. But, yeah, it's definitely, this country is known to be the dominant sport in luge, so it's way more kind of ingrained in their culture, per se, maybe, kind of, than it would be in ours. But I have to say, racing on home tracks in North America, we sometimes bring out bigger crowds than they do some races here. So it's pretty cool to be able to have experienced that in my career. So I don't feel like I'll have any, I won't lose any sleep over not being in Germany anymore. But there definitely is, the nostalgia of doing the sport in a country that it's so big in, I guess.
No, thank you. And I guess just as a bit of a follow-up, I asked this to Matt and Jason before, is there any preparation over the next few weeks, even though that the World Cup circuit is still going on and the importance of these races, is there anything that is still being looked at for Korea even a month out? Is that part of training in any way, or can you really do anything with this?
There's nothing super detailed or specific that we can do without being on that track. I can, with training, physical training, not necessarily sliding, I can look at how the next couple weeks are going to pan out, and some decisions with certain activities or how my body feels, I can start to really think about that to just get myself in the best possible
shape and health and everything I can be in when we get to Korea. So in that sense, yes, we can, start to kind of hone in on that sled setup that's going to feel the best and be the most comfortable and consistent. But like I said, every track is so different. So without being able to be on that track, we can't get too deep into that. But I'm sure, maybe we'll play around with some things over the next couple of weeks. But the next 3 races are actually pretty impactful for the Olympics because they determine the seeding that all the athletes have. So you want good results, so you get a good seeding position, which is basically just your spot when they do the order of the games. So it's pretty important for the next 3 races.
Great, thank you.
Other questions, please, for anyone.
Hi, Pat Malin from the Boonville Herald for Aaron. Hi, Aaron. I didn't get to talk to you over vacation. How do you feel?
I'm feeling good.
Okay. How do you think things have been going this season? It appears to me it's a little more up and down than maybe you would have liked.
Yeah, the consistency hasn't been there for me. I've had a lot of races where there was a lot of potential and then didn't pan out. But, we're just going to keep plugging away and hopefully that can start to trend in a different direction and get some solid races here before the Olympics.
Okay. Any jitters for you? Being your last season, do you put any pressure on yourself to, perform outside your normal range, or try to do anything different, or just to leave a lasting mark?
No, I think I had a pretty good moment in 2014. That was more than I could have ever imagined. And since then, I've had some great seasons and great results. So I don't feel like I have anything really to prove at this point. So I definitely am not putting extra pressure on myself. I really just want to enjoy it. Kind of take it all in and have these last couple weeks be really fun. And that's kind of the focus for me right now. Obviously, still to go fast, but I'm not going to beat myself up over anything too crazy.
Okay. Now you guys raced, saw a little bit of the Korea track at the end of last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we had a World Cup there, which was the test event in February.
Yeah, okay. Have you heard any buzz about the track in Korea? I mean, it's a very, very new track, and I think like some of the Olympic tracks in the past, there's probably a lot of bugs that have to be worked out. Have you heard any buzz from anybody who's been on the track, or they don't allow it? Any gossip about the track?
No, not really. So we were out there last February for the test event and for some training, and then we were there again this past fall for another training week or 2, I guess. And so that's the only times that the international community has been on the track. I think the Koreans have gotten some training on it, but since we left there in November, we haven't really heard anything. We haven't, no one else has been there, and we'll see what it's like when we get back there in about a month.
And Pat, just so that you know, at this point...
One more question.
Go ahead.
Aaron, when you looked ahead to the season, of course, you announced your retirement before the season started. Were you thinking about leaving anything to the rest of the team, trying to influence Emily or any of the other girls on the team, any of your teammates?
As far as leaving anything, we put dibs on some of her things, I'll have like an estate sale and they can all kind of fight over my things, but no, for the most part, I just, I'm excited to still support them however I can off the track, I guess, as a non-competing athlete, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay, great. Good talk with you.
Pat, just so that you know, once everybody gets to Korea in February, it's 6 training runs and then race. That's it. So that's kind of how this whole thing is formatted. Okay? Other questions, please, for other athletes?
This is John Zartansky from Inside Pennsylvania magazine. My question's for Summer. Summer, how'd you go from being a small-town Pennsylvania person to the Olympics, and what can you say about the experience? I know you were involved before the previous games, but as far as the experience inspiring young girls maybe to get into the sport, but just people in general to have some of the patriotism of rooting for Team USA.
All right, I'm going to try to answer all those questions, so just let me know if I forget anything.
That's fine, thanks. Sorry.
I think
a lot.
The way I got to where I am is just one step at a time. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be an Olympian and to compete in the Olympics. And then I came across this sport of luge, and I instantly fell in love with it and knew that I had the chance to maybe one day compete for my country in the Olympics. And yeah, it was just one step at a time. I always almost always enjoyed it. There were a few rough times, but just keeping your eye on the prize and knowing that you have a goal in mind and working through those tough times and really, enjoying the good times and it took a lot of time and a lot of patience. The experience of competing in the Olympics, being an Olympian, is incredible. I haven't experienced anything else like it. To fulfill a lifelong ambition and dream is pretty incredible. And what else did you ask? Inspiring young girls. I hope I put out there inspire young girls to kind of follow their dreams and know that they can do anything. That might sound really cheesy, but I had two parents that kind of always gave me the idea that nothing could hold me back if I set my mind to it, and the world was my oyster, and I could do anything I wanted as long as I was driven and willing to put in the work. And so I hope that through my training, through my competing, I can sort of give off that ideal.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hi, this is Ed Hula from Around the Rings. Maybe for Tucker West and anybody else who wants a stab at it, the Olympics are getting a lot of publicity right now for what's happening between North and South Korea, and the fact that the Winter Games could be a way to help bring peace to the two Koreas. Any thoughts about participating in the games under these kinds of conditions, expectations? Does it make it a cooler, a more meaningful experience to go to the Olympics right now?
Ever since I was 12 years old, I've always been an athlete. I go to the gym every day and train to be an athlete. I never really got into the political realm of it, so I haven't paid too much attention to this. I'm aware of what's going on over there, but I'm confident that there's people taking care of our safety and, making sure that the tensions are low. I'm sure the Olympics will go swimmingly. There's always a hubbub over every single Olympics. Rio de Janeiro, there's something. In Sochi, there's going to be terrorists. So you just never know what's going to go on, and I think the media loves to blow it up. So we'll see what happens with this time around.
Other questions, please. We have a few more minutes.
Yeah, this is Tim Hibbs with the U.S. Army. Taylor, obviously you've been sliding a lot longer than you've been around the military. Can you kind of tell us your story of how you hooked up with the Army, and does it mean anything extra special to you to be representing not only Team USA but the U.S. Army as well?
Absolutely. I got into the Army with the sole purpose of trying to join the World Class Athlete Program. We have a coach, Bill Tavares, who was Sergeant Tavares, and he kind of directed the attention to what the World Class Athlete Program is and what it can do as an athlete if you do decide to go down that road. And I made that decision to serve my country. Whatever that entails as being a world-class athlete, it's definitely an honor to be able to represent the U.S. Army as well as Team USA. But it does mean something very special to also be able to show that you can do something and be a part of something bigger than yourself. Being a part of the Army as well as being an Olympic athlete.
Two of the things, Taylor, that WCAP's pushing right now, and I know you're probably more remote than being at Fort Carson as much, but the Total Soldier Enhancement Training, the TSET program, and also functional fitness, which the Army's overhauling its whole PT program to try to get more functional fitness in there to just get soldiers moving better. Are you up to speed enough to talk about those two things?
You know, being as a remote athlete, I haven't been tasked to be doing any T-sets. You know, I know a little bit about it, and I understand that, you know, the people that have done it on Fort Carson and the athletes and soldiers that have done that have thoroughly enjoyed doing it. But personally, I don't have, you know, the knowledge of doing it or the experience of doing it myself to be able to speak on that.
What about functional fitness? Do you do anything out of the norm? I mean, other than
functional fitness, just pertaining to luge. I mean,
it is pretty functional, huh?
Yeah, I would say, you know, it's a lot of explosive movements, and it's a very dynamic sport in a sense that you're trying to be as powerful and as quick as you can be for 3 to 5 seconds at the start, and then be as smooth, calm, and relaxed, and have a total awareness of your body, and have the balance and ability to keep yourself contained going down an icy chute at 80 miles an hour.
Cool.
Very good. Other questions for anyone?
James Ernst. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
That's okay. James Ernst, Growing Truth. Wanted to find out how much that relay silver medal is going to, give you all momentum going into the rest of the World Cup.
Anybody in particular, James?
Tucker, I guess.
Okay, Tucker.
You know, one of my biggest things with the sport of luge is confidence. You know, when you're confident, you seem to slide faster. When you're confident, you seem to look better on the sled. So anytime you can get on top of a medal stand, that's a boost in confidence, not only for the athletes that were part of that team, but for the athletes outside of it, because it shows that our equipment is up to par with the rest of the world. It shows that our coaching is strong, and it shows that the athletes on Team USA are strong. So hopefully I think we'll capitalize on that result and just have it snowball as we have done in the past, and hopefully we'll feed on this and see many more successes down the road.
Okay, very good. We have a few more minutes. Other questions?
Can I ask Taylor another question?
Absolutely, Amy.
Okay, Taylor, actually I'm just going to ask you a compound question. Did you play other sports when you were a young kid, and what was it about luge that sort of captured you, and how close did you come to making the 2014 team?
Yeah, I was a year-round athlete. I actually wrestled and played basketball, so that was pretty intense. But I also played lacrosse, soccer, football. I mean, I was as much of an athlete as anyone would be in high school. But what caught my eye was the fact that I would have the opportunity to represent the United States of America at an Olympic Games. That's been a dream since I was 5 years old, and something that I've been pushing towards for a very long time. And I think that's what drew my eye to it, right away. Also, the speed and adrenaline is always something big that we all enjoy doing. And I forgot your last question. I'm sorry.
Just how close did you come to making the 2014 team? I know it was really close, but I can't.
I was the Olympic alternate. The margin was 0.004 of a second, and that's about it.
Wow. What's it like recovering from something like that, or I guess bouncing back from that?
It was difficult, but at the same time, you've got to applaud your teammates, and you've got to, as much as we've grown up together. I know pretty much all of my teammates through and through. They're all really good friends of mine, and you just got to applaud them on their performance and, wish them the very best. I think what it did for me was it lit a fire, that I could do this again, and that I could go succeed in my dream, and that I wasn't going to give up. And that wasn't, just a personal, thought. It was my family, my friends, my community. They all, rallied together. They got me back up on the horse, per se, and I thank them and all of my support for the last 16 years, and especially over the last 4 years for picking me back up.
Very good. Just about at the end of the road here. One more question, and then we'll send everybody on their way.
Sandy, I need to reach out to Taylor and Emily the same way I did with Matt, if that's okay.
Okay. You want to do that by email, or what do you want to hang on the phone, or what do you want to do?
If they could just each send me an email, and then we can take it from there.
Okay. All right. I've got your email. I can, if you needed Emily, if you needed Taylor, I can shoot Tim's email to you, and then you can communicate after the fact. But any other questions for any athletes before we disperse? All right, everybody. Thank you very much to our athletes. Thank you for taking the time. Safe sliding this week, fast sliding this week, and to the media, thank you for participating. We'll see everybody next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thank you all.